Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time once again. It is Tuesday, and in the world of Call of Duty, that means there are new updates that'll be going live. And today is no exception, as Modern Warfare got yet another new update today. However, this time it was simply a little mini update to change and fix a few things all across the board. So today we are breaking down all the changes that came with this little mini update, and also what to expect a bit later on this week. But before we jump into the patch notes today, if you guys are new here, hey, hi, how you doing? Each and every day I've got the latest news, intel, and everything else regarding Call of Duty going up right here on the channel. So if you do want to stay on top of all of that, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always be notified every time I post a new video. And of course, if you do enjoy this one, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into the brand new mini update and check out everything that changed with it. So first and foremost, jumping into the general fixes for today, the first one we see is for Spec Ops specifically, as they fixed an issue where a player would see no objective after retrying a mission after they were spectating in Operation Paladin. Now, I know from the few hours that I've spent playing Spec Ops that while the mode is definitely challenging, it is completely plagued with bugs and glitches and all sorts of problems like that. From audio cutting out randomly to weapons disappearing and plenty of other things too. So admittedly, I am kind of surprised there's not more Spec Ops fixes and updates listed here aside from that one, but hopefully as we see more updates in the coming days and weeks, Spec Ops will see even more bug fixes and the mode can be fine-tuned a little more. But anyways, that objective issue on Operation Paladin has been fixed. We then see that there was a fix to the CDL rule set in Search and Destroy, where field upgrades were completely disabled, so that should no longer be present. They added a fix for an exploit where players could duplicate their kill streaks or cycle their streaks in a sense, and I am certainly glad to see this one fixed now, because I know over the past few days of playing, especially in Ground War, players were abusing this glitch left and right to cycle their streaks, so they could have, a VTOL, a chopper gunner, and an advanced UAV called in, and then as soon as those initial streaks would disappear, they would then immediately call in another set, which pretty much chalks the entire match if you are on the enemy team, because there's not really much you can do, except maybe progress your launcher challenges if the enemies are constantly glitching kill streaks. So that one was a much needed fix for sure. Next up, they fixed the Blue V Optic challenge not displaying the proper text description. And then finally, for the general fixes, they fixed the misspelling of the word trophy, so yeah, very important update there. Now moving on from the general fixes, we then get into some more specific updates, including a few meant for Ground War that were definitely much needed if you ask me. Here we first see that they fixed a bug that could cause the filter on the respawn selection screen to stay on your screen when spawning back in, so that was just an annoying visual bug fix there. And then they also fixed an issue where the select loadout screen would keep reappearing after selecting a loadout and attempting to spawn back in. Now, if you've played a lot of Ground War over the past few days, I'm sure you've probably ran into this issue plenty of times. I know I found myself messing up spawn after spawn because I'd be choosing a class instead of staying on that respawn screen, or sometimes I'd even get that loadout glitch and then I'd accidentally choose the wrong class, then I'd be messed up until I died again, and it was just kind of rinse and repeat there. So it was a very annoying bug to say the least, but it is now fixed and I'm definitely glad to see that one in the notes too. Now, one thing that is kind of peculiar here is that there is no mention of the tank nerfs that were brought up on Twitter a few days back. In case you missed it, Pamaj tweeted at Joe Seacott saying, "I watched the movie Fury and the tank eventually ran out of ammo. Can that be a thing in this game, please?" And Joe Seacott responded to Pamaj and said, "We need to nerf the tanks a little bit." That same day, Joe also said that the 725 would be getting nerfed even more, and as we'll see here in a moment, the 725 got adjusted some more in this update. But lo and behold, the tanks weren't touched whatsoever in this patch, so I guess that's just an incoming update planned for a bit further on down the road. I guess we are going to have to just wait and see. Anyways, moving on from that though, there was also a ton of missions and challenges that got fixed, including the missions of Infiltrator, Warrior's Code, Aggression, Dominator, and Munitions, and the officer challenges of Launch Destroys, Heartbreaker, Precision Airstrike, Karma, and Close and Personal. So tracking on all of those should be working a bit better now. We then also got some more weapon tuning with this update as well. Not necessarily a ton of it, but what did change was pretty significant. First and foremost here, the Aug ended up getting an increase in close range damage and an increase to the mid damage range with a slight reduction to the chest multiplier. Now, the Aug was a pretty solid weapon prior to this update going live. I honestly think it was one of the better SMGs in the game, but now, good grief, ladies and gentlemen, I used this thing for a little while, and it is ridiculously good in those close and medium range gunfights, especially when you've got that 5.56 ammunition conversion. This thing is now a melt machine, and I definitely think it is a lot more viable now than it was before, and that's saying something because before it really wasn't all that bad to begin with. There was also some changes to the 725 yet again in this update, as they made a small reduction to the base weapon damage range, they significantly reduced the damage range added by attachments, they made a small hip spread increase, and they reduced the effective damage at the hip. So all around, the 725 got nerfed even more to hopefully balance it out with the rest of the shotguns in the category. Now, from my playtime on this new update so far, I'd say the 725 is still a beast up close, but hey, you know, it's a shotgun at the end of the day. It's kind of meant to be good in those close range engagements, but at any kind of decent range, those damage reductions are definitely noticeable as there are a lot less one-shot kills. Then, they also ended up nerfing the Model 680 shotgun a bit too, as there was a slight reduction to the damage range with all of the range extending attachments. Now that is effectively everything that ended up changing in today's little mini update. However, this is not the only update coming to Modern Warfare this week, as David Mickner over on Twitter said that today's update was more of an emergency update for critical fixes, and that there will be a much larger patch later on this week, and that will presumably be the 1.09 update. Now it is not 100% confirmed what all is going to change in the official 1.09 patch, but we do have a few things that we know are planned on being updated, and we can only assume they'll be coming with this next patch. Those things include the tank nerfs that I previously mentioned. Joe COD did obviously say they were coming, and I don't expect it to be too much longer until they are actually implemented into the game. So that'll be great news for any and all ground war players out there. I would assume maybe they'll be limiting the tank's ammo and or the spawn rate just based off of Joe's reply to Pamage's tweet, so we can be on the lookout for that. We also know that there are some changes coming to the kill feed as well to remove the notifications like blank avenged you and blank saved you, and apparently even some of the blank has disconnected or blank has left the game, etc, etc. That way the kill feed will appear a bit cleaner, and obviously people who like to go for quad feeds, snipers, and people like that will definitely appreciate that update. We are also coming up on the time in which we could potentially see some new DLC maps added in, as going off of the fact that there were nearly 40 maps leaked in the in-game files, and we got 2 a few weeks back with Krovnik Farmland and Shoot House, we could be seeing new DLC maps added in every 2 to 3 weeks or so. So if the 1.09 patch is going to go live on Friday, we might see some new maps included as a little surprise update there, which would be pretty cool as well. Then, one last thing that we can be on the lookout for is that rumored overhaul update that the Gaming Revolution mentioned could be coming at the end of November. TGR originally said that this overhaul update would be changing a few pretty big things in-game, including the minimap, as they plan on reverting it back to its original state, where every single time an enemy shoots, they will appear on the minimap as a red dot. But being that the overhaul update is a leaked patch, we can't really be 100% certain as to when or even if it will be coming to the game. However, I will say with the first season coming out in early December, that update is going to be pretty big in and of itself. So we might even see the overhaul update pushed back to align with the launch of Season 1. But as far as this week goes, we're not quite done with all the patches yet, so just be conscious as we do have a few more things coming out later this week with the 1.09 update. And of course, once that does end up dropping, I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop with what all changes then. Anyways, with all of that being said, that is effectively everything that ended up changing with the new mini update in Modern Warfare, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, including all the latest news and intel, updates and leaks, and pretty much everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on. That way you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. As always, if you would like to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. You can find all of those links listed down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.